Hey, I'm Joe Hill, the author of Full Throttle, and here's my list of 5 films that you could watch on Halloween. My first choice is for viewers who want something classy and classic. They want scares more than they want gore. And if that describes you, then the film you want to check out is The Changeling, starring George C. Scott. It has a little whiff of the 70s on it. You can see the shag carpet and the polyester clothes. But aside from that, it's a terrific story about a man who loses his family and moves to a new home, which turns out to be very haunted, and his response to this terror is not to flee, but to get curious, because having just lost some people he loves, he wants to know what's on the other side. So The Changeling, George C. Scott, that's worth checking out. I have a selfish recommendation. My new book has 13 short stories in it. One of them is a short story I wrote with my dad, Steve King, called In the Tall Grass. In the Tall Grass has been made into a terrific movie on Netflix. It's furiously scary. It's kind of a gory hayseed Inception, and it does, wild things with bending timelines and space, and it's real scary. So if you get a chance to sit down with In the Tall Grass on Halloween Eve on Netflix, I think you'll enjoy it. Those who like their horror on Halloween Eve to include a shout of laughter, I would check out a mockumentary called What We Do in the Shadows. It follows the everyday ho-hum lives of 3 vampires living in New Zealand. It's almost sort of like it has the sense of humor of something like Good Omens, and is a terrific watch. If you're in the mood to watch a picture that's real go-for-the-throat horror, claustrophobic and frightening, and with a sterling pedigree, you'll want to check out John Carpenter's The Thing. The guys who work in gross-out special effects, guys like Tom Savini, Rob Bott, and Rick Baker. And if you ever talk to these guys, they always agree on what the best horror film is. It's John Carpenter's The Thing, because that was the one that did stuff with those kind of twisted, gross-out effects that no one had ever done before. It has a selection of set pieces that are stomach-turning and mind-bending and can never be forgotten. So John Carpenter's The Thing would be my 4th pick. And at the risk of gaming for family, I will go back to another piece of work by someone near and dear. I would check out It Chapter 1, because I think it's one of the best Stephen King adaptations of all time. The scariest clown in the history of scary clowns.